Hello, folks, and welcome to the Counting Sheep podcast. This is episode 71. My name is Ruth, and I will be your host for the next 40 minutes or so. It seems to be getting longer lately. This is my podcast about all things fibery, knitting, crochet, spinning, what I get up to in and around my little sheep farm here in Vermont. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. I had a little bit of a 3-week hiatus last week. It just didn't come together for me. We've had some rainy, cold weather, and we had a bright, sunny day. And we just kind of had to get out and get some work done in the yard, as well as some gardening, try to get some plants in. We had a really rainy Memorial Day weekend, so it was hard to get out and do anything. So once the sun came out, we had to try to get out, and it's kind of been that way since then too. So the Vermonters have been trying to get their beans in, and it's kind of been dodging raindrops. We're not complaining. Last year we had a horrible drought, and I think we're still trying to catch up from it. So we have we still need some rain. So that's a good thing. Lots of gardening busyness going on. And as soon as I'm done here, I'm probably going to go back to it. So but anyway, what I'm wearing today, I have on my big love. This is something that gets the most wear in my wardrobe. This is a sweater I pretty much wear around the house. I throw it on when I have a little bit of a chill. It is still it's mid-morning here right now as I'm recording, and it's about going on 60 degrees, maybe 62 degrees. So still a little chilly in the house. We'll see how it goes. I'll probably be taking this off sooner or later. I made this several years ago, and I have to say it's one of my, if not the favorite, and it looks like it's well loved for being a big love. It's got a lot of kind of pulls in it where the cat has kind of went, it's not her fault, her back feet, kind of just, get into it. But I'll stand up to just show you. It's got a little shawl collar on it. This is made out of Malabrigo Rios, which is their worsted weight. And it's got kind of a drop shoulder. Lots of kind of squishiness to it. There was when I made it. This pattern has a lot of texture on it. Just turn to see, as you can see. So just have it on this morning just to keep the chill away. Before I go any further, just so I don't forget where you can find me, I am Rabbit Lady on Ravelry, Counting Sheep at Sunrise Hill on Instagram and Threads. I'm also Counting Sheep on Facebook. But if you really need to get a hold of me, I have an email for the podcast, which is sunrisehillfarmandcrafts@gmail.com. So those are the places where I can be found. I have a lot to get to today since I haven't been here in a while, so I will just jump right in. So I start off with crochet, I go into knitting. Today, those two are going to overlap a little bit. I have a little bit of spinning just to show you, and then I'll probably show you a few little acquisitions depending on time and that sort of thing. So, let me show you a project you have been seeing for the past couple of times. This is my kind of mock-up, mash-up Tunisian shawl. And this is my inspiration I've taken from Elena Fedotova. And she has two different patterns here that I've used. One which is just I'm using kind of the layout for it, and the other one I've use to make the motifs. So yeah, so one's called Tunisian Motifs. So that's by Lena Fedotova. And the other one, the other pattern is called Tunisian Flowers. And the last time I spoke, I had to do some deconstructing. That's all been done, and I'm happy to report that I've reached the middle of the shawl, and now I'm climbing back up the other side. So as you can see, so this is the middle of the shawl here. I'm going to stand up just a little bit. This is the middle. So it dips down, it comes down from here, like in a V shape. And so this one's the middle one, and now it's going to climb back up going that way. So hard to hold all this here. So I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see. Yeah. And then the other end will end like this too. So each one of these strips has 5 of the motifs, and then it'll end with 4 and then 3 on the end. So I have these little stitch markers just to kind of keep me oriented as to where the beginning was, because sometimes when this gets turned around, it's hard to know which end is up, which I think had a lot to do with how I got screwed up way back here. But yeah, but the good news is I have all the little circles done, and I'll show you those. I decided to sit down and just knock them out. They take about a minute to do, literally, because they're just one circle of double crochets, and then you just kind of finish them off. So this entire shawl takes 89 of them all together. So here are the rest of them for the other half of the shawl. Yeah, and I have them in a little bag here. There's 4 more in there that don't want to come out. But yeah, so I finished those off. So it's just a matter of surrounding them with the green. And the green is a Studio Donical yarn. This is their Darny fingering. And it's 100% lamb's wool. And this color shade number is 8801. And I think they call it grass or something like that. I think there is a name for it, but it's not on their label. Yeah, so that's coming along. And yeah, I just wanted to show you the layout. This is the layout that I have. So this is how it's going to be in this V shape here. So that's kind of fun to, work on. You can just sit down, and I did succumb to working in the ends finally. I was leaving the ends undone because I was having such a hard time when I had to go back and fix the mistake that I made. I was having such a hard time undoing, the ends. I had decided to leave them, but then they were driving me crazy, so I worked them in finally. I had enough confidence to finally work them in. Yeah, so that project is coming along just fine, and I'm glad that I went ahead and fixed the problem, and I'm seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. So all right, so this is going to be like Tunisian territory here. My next project I had alluded to, and I actually swatched for it. I showed it to you the last time, and it is out of this book by Ashley Rivas. She made an entire book of Tunisian crochet tops. She is a designer, a wonderful designer. And I chose this one cardigan pattern in here. This one is called the Starlight Cardigan Pattern. Let's see if I can get the picture now. So here is the Starlight cardigan. I'm going to try to, you can see the texture on it. It's got these cute little star stitches in the pattern. Drop shoulder on that. And I did manage to start this. The ribbing is done with a regular crochet hook, and I had to actually restart it because I wasn't really happy with how it was turning out. Sometimes when you're doing slip stitch, it can get a little loosey-goosey, and I wasn't all too happy with it, but once I restarted it, it fell in line. So, so I'm just going to show you this ribbing is a combination of yarn over slip stitch and slip stitch. So you do one row of one, yarn over slip stitch, and then coming back you do slip stitch. So it makes a nice stretchy ribbing, which is gorgeous, just gorgeous. And then I did essentially one repeat of the pattern. So these star stitches are kind of offset from each other, and that's how the pattern goes all the way up, excuse me, all the way up the body. This is one front panel that I'm doing here. This yarn is from Fiber Stash. She is a Vermont dyer. I've lost the actual colorway here. I had it. If I find it, I'll put it on the screen here. But yeah, it's got this nice little tweedy. It's actually her sock base. So it has some nylon in it, but it also has these nice little tweedy neps in there. So it's kind of cool. And yeah, and the Tunisian size crochet hook I'm using with a fingering weight, just so you know, is a 5mm. And in US, that's the H hook. So with the Tunisian, you really do go up quite a few sizes than you would normally when you're using a normal crochet hook. For Tunisian, you go up quite a few sizes. So yeah, so that's kind of really coming along, and it's looking really nice. So enjoying the texture there. Yeah, so that is by Ashley Rivas. That is the Starlight cardigan from her book. All right, so moving on to knitting now. So I told you crochet and knitting are going to overlap here a little bit, and I'll let you know why in a second. I have a finished object in knitting, and I got my second quarterly socks done. So these are my Hello Spring socks. And I think I'm figuring out finally, after I don't know how many years of knitting, that in order to get socks done knit-wise in an expedient fashion, I need to be on those really small circular needles. So anyway, this is a pattern. Let me go back. This is a pattern, go back in my notes. Yeah, by Laura Salisbury. And she owns a dye company called Always Be Kind Yarn, and she also dyed this yarn. She offered this kit out, I believe, in 2023, and it came as a mystery, you know, so she wound the balls up in separate little bags that you couldn't see through, and so I didn't get to it until 3 years later for spring, but they're just lovely socks for springtime. They're really beautiful. And she put this diamond heel in here, which I've never done before. So interesting diamond heel. She also included these minis here, the pink mini up here, and then this blue mini down here. And this is what, this is a star toe, I believe, which I really like doing. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm very happy with these. And yeah, so this pattern is on Ravelry, and it is called the Diamond Heel Socks. And it's dirt cheap. I think it's only like $3 or something, that $3 or $4. Don't quote me, but I think the last time I checked it was pretty cheap. So yeah, I'm very pleased with these. And what I like about this diamond heel is that, and I've mentioned it before, is that it maintains, you know, the self-striping yarn, the pattern. So, so you don't have to, you know, stop and use a different color or whatever. Yeah. So I didn't think to bring my sock blockers up here to show you, but a sock's a sock, you know how they are. So, yeah, so that's great. Now I can wear these. So, so that brings me to my next sock project. And while I was finishing these up, what came across my radar was one of my, I have several favorite crochet designers, but one of the ones that has stood the test of time, Karen Hooley, has been around for quite some time. She is running the Summer of Socks right now. And what that is she is putting out 3 patterns during the summer, one per month for each of the summer months. So one on June 1st, one on July 1st, and one on August 1st. And you can buy the 3 of them for $21 right now for a limited time. After a certain point, and I'm not quite sure when that is, the price will go up. But if you buy them now and join the Summer of Socks, they're $21. So, and with that, you also get like these Google help sessions, like Google Meet help sessions, where you can log on and get help if you get stuck with the patterns or whatever. The other thing that she's offering is if you finish the pair of socks within that month, like the June pair of socks for June, and she just has a little form you fill out and you put up a picture of the socks. You get entered in for drawing for yarn for another pair of socks, which is kind of nice. And then she also has kind of a celebratory call where everybody gets together and shows off their socks, and she has the drawing right on that call. So anyway, I decided to jump in. I haven't done crocheted socks in a while. I have done a few pair. Karen has written several books on crocheted socks. She happens to be an aficionado of crocheted socks. I have a lot of her books. And these are new patterns that she's come out with, so I've decided to jump aboard. And her June socks came out yesterday, and these are the Ocean Wave socks. So they have a nice kind of cuff that looks like, you know, the waves from the ocean, and then a nice foot coming down here. So I dug through my sock yarn stash, which is just kind of out of control. I don't have these colors. I decided that I wanted to use some yarn that I had frogged from a pair of, or not even a pair of socks, some socks that I frogged that I was doing knitwise that it just wasn't working out. This is a sock yarn from Dirty Water Dye Works. She is also a local dyer. She is in the Boston area, and I love I love a neppy yarn. So she has this sock yarn of hers, and there's some nice little dyed neps in there. I had tried to, believe it or not, and hindsight is 20/20, and I should have known better. I was going to try to knit a pair of socks with a lot of texture with this yarn. One does not do that. It already has enough texture in it, So I decided to use this for the foot part of ocean waves. That way, you know, the yarn can be shown off in all its glory down in here. For the top part, I think it's hard to see on my screen, but she did use a different color for up here. She used a white, of course, here, and then this color is different. So what I did was I searched for 2 different colors. Actually, I just took a white out of my stash. This is from Knit Picks. This is just a Knit Picks fingering weight sock yarn. White for the waves, and then this kind of variegated blue color to go in there. So I think the 3 of them together will look kind of nice, you know. I think they'll work, you know. This for the waves and this for the rest of the foot. So I'll let you know how I get on with that. I think it'll be fine. I think we'll get going. Yeah. I enjoy her patterns a lot. They're very well written, and like I said, she has it down on the shaping of a sock for you know, crochet. And like I said, she's been at this a long time, and she knows her crochet for sure. Anyway, I'll try to find the link for her website and put it here, so that if you're interested, you can go on over and join in if you like. So that is kind of the overlap with knitting and crochet here. My last thing for knitting that I wanted to share with you was my simple pie vest. This is something that I started just kind of because the Woolly Thistle is doing their vest and tea-cow right now. They just had their opening day, or their cast on day. I think it was last week. I don't know, I just kind of joined the kind of email thing just recently. You would think I'd be more on the ball being one of their employees, but I'm not. Anyway, so the simple pie vest is just, you know, as advertised. It's pretty simple, and it's I would say a beginner garment, although I'll tell you, it's done in pieces, and what I elected to do was do it in the round instead of flat pieces, because I just don't do that anymore. If it can be done in the round, I will do it in the round. So I converted the pattern to in the round. And it's just kind of a nice thing to pick up, kind of a, you know, what was I was talking to Maggie at the Woolly Thistle. Sometimes it's just nice to have a worsted weight stockinette project on the needles that you can just pick up, you know, when you don't really want to think too much. But anyway, I am doing mine in the Peace Fleece. This is Kamchatka Sea Moss. I have a bunch of this in my stash. So I'm just at the end of one skein. So just coming up on the end. And this is how far I am with the body. So it's, you know, obviously bottom up. This is one of the twice sheared sheep little gadgets to measure. So I got a ways to go yet. They require you to do 16 inches of the body. I am going to kind of measure as I go along on my body, because I do have, as I've mentioned before, a very short torso. Or short torso, I think. I have about 7 inches done here so far. So yeah, it's kind of nice just to pick this up and put a couple rows on, and then go back to doing something else that's a little more, who knows, you know, like complicated. Yeah, so yeah, this is a lot of fun to do. Highly recommended if you're just kind of starting out in knitting and you want to do a first garment. This has no sleeves, which is wonderful. There's no sleeve island, as they say, and it's basically, you know, just once you get going, it's stockinette all the way, and then you start to do a little bit of shaping for the armholes, some ribbing, and yeah, good stuff. And it's piece fleece. So piece fleece is spun up by Harrisville Designs, which is local to us here in New England. Yeah, I don't know if I have a picture here to show you. Well, that's somewhat the front of it. It's a V-neck. I don't have the beginning of the pattern here, I don't think. I tend to do that. I print out the meat and the guts of the pattern, and I forget the actual picture. So, all right, and then the other knitting thing that I didn't write down in my notes, but I have it here, is the little kerchief that I started. And this is by Kate Davies Designs, and I'm not going to say the name because it's pronounced totally different from the way it's spelled. But this little colorwork scarf caught my eye. And these little kerchiefs are all the rage right now. And I actually went out and bought the kit, and these are the two colors that it comes with. This is in the Uskit, and this color is called Siller. And the other color is this blue, and that is in the Milwaukee Tweed, and it's called Loken. Yeah, Milwaukee Tweed. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong too. But yeah, it's got all these little neps in it. Anyway, I'll have to show you my progress here because this has been a really fun knit here. This is done in the round with a steek. Fun stuff. I love a good steek. Tell me if you're interested in seeing how I cut a steek, because I can put in a little video if you like. I know when I have a little knitting group at the library that I volunteer at here in town, and they were interested in seeing me cut a steek, and so I did. On the night I went over there and kind of made everybody have chest pain, but it's not really a chest pain type of thing. It's just I think if you're not accustomed to taking a pair of scissors to your knitting, it can be a chest pain inducing type of thing, but it's really not. Especially woolly wool like this, it just likes to stick to itself, so it's not going to go anywhere. But here's the lovely motif. Oh, it's just so gorgeous. I really love knitting this. Yeah, it's nice and methodical. You know, it's a fingering weight yarn, so it takes a little time, but it's fine. You know, it's just gorgeous. I love how the blue and the off-white work together. Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with my voice right now. I think it's probably a combination of the pollen that's in the air. They say the tree pollen's really high right now in my area, so yeah. Yeah, so yeah, let me know. I'll put a little video up, maybe not, something apart from the normal podcast or whatever. And when this is done, I'll cut the steek. This is my steek here. You can see I alternate colors. And what I usually do is a crochet steek because I'm a crocheter. And I'll take a small crochet hook and just with a different color of yarn, do a crochet chain up this side and then up the other side, and then cut right in between. So yeah, but anyway, that is my little kerchief from Kate Davies. Highly recommend if you like to do a little bit of color work. That's not too much of an investment, It's not a whole sweater. It's not even a vest, you know. So, yeah, it's kind of summer knitting, if you ask me. All right, so that's it for the knitting front. I just wanted to show you my spinning. I mentioned that I had my eye on this other Tunisian pattern of Ashley Revis's, this coffee house vest, they call it. But I decided to spin the yarn for it since I have my own fleece, you know, and a lot of it. Yeah, so this is my dearly departed Mala. She was my BFL. She left us over the winter time, went to sheep heaven. And this is actually her 2024 clip. And I managed to spin up 4 ounces of her. This is 4 ounces, 4 ounces, 4 ounces. So I'm going to do 4 ounces, this 4 ounces on another spool, another, and then I'll do another 4 ounces, which I have on another. And then those, once I have all 3, I'll be plying them together to make a 3-ply. I did this as a woolen spun, which means it has a lot of air in it and it'll be nice and lofty. I do want it to be nice and airy, have a lot of air in it so that the vest doesn't feel like, you know, very heavy. I want it to be nice and, you know, lofty and lightweight and warm. When you have a lot of air trapped in a garment, it offers quite a bit of warmth, as you can imagine. So that's my update with spinning. I'm doing this on my Ashford e-spinner. And so my cat's pretty happy about that. My cat is, she turned 17 this month. And she is always looking for a warm lap to sit in. And so you can imagine if my legs are going up and down when I'm pedaling on a regular spinning wheel, that does not make her happy. So if I'm at my e-spinner and my lap is still and she can sit in it for warmth, she's much happier. So we have to accommodate the elderly cat in the house and use the e-spinner, which I'm not unhappy about, but this is the state of the being at Shea Tickner. Anywho, that is in spinning. And then just real quickly, I want to show you some of the acquisitions I've gotten over the past few weeks. It's just a little update. I was watching a podcast from one of my favorite people over in Britain, Allie of Little Drops of Wonderful. She's been doing kind of a stash organization. God bless her. I just don't have the wherewithal to do that. I'm just glad it's kind of in containers and kind of safe out of harm's way. But she likes to air the stash once in a while and see what she's got and kind of rehome things. But she brought out a spindle, and I was kind of inspired by it, so I had to go buy one. Of course. Anyway, this spindle came from, sorry, I had to take a drink there. My throat was getting a little dry. This came from the Ukraine. And yeah, it's called, I bought it off of Etsy. Art and Wooden Products is the Etsy store. This is called a Mayan spindle. And I've watched some YouTube videos on how to use it. But what you basically do, it's got some notches here on the end. And that's how you wind. Actually, it's on both sides. The notches are. The paddle is where you wind the yarn on. And it's got this little stick here. It goes through here. And you hold the stick. And the way you spin is like this. And when I've got it all figured out, I'm going to show you how it works. but I think it would be great for beginners because trying to learn how to drop spindle is kind of difficult in the beginning because of just trying to do a whole lot of stuff at the same time is hard to learn. Whereas this kind of method, you're actually stopping one set of sequences and doing something else. So this is the actual spinning part, and then you stop this and you actually wind on. But yeah, I'll get back to you on this type of thing, but I thought it was kind of fun. And this is all kind of handmade by this maker in Ukraine. And I kind of like supporting Ukraine right now. They're just having a rough time. All right, so that was one thing. That just came like yesterday. And then the other thing I have is the new Lina Let's Crochet magazine. And this is a wonderful little publication. Once again, I was so excited when this came. It has a lot of neat summer tops in it, and a necklace. So I wanted to show you the necklace. Really cool. It's made out of raffia yarn. So really neat. And then an ode to the granny stitch. So a top there. I think this would come, what am I trying to say? This would look really good in one color as well. So yeah, if you're not into the whole, 5-color sequence there, you can easily do that in one color. What else did there's a skirt in here I wanted to show you. Also a take on the old granny stitch, which, Granny Stitch is indomitable, but here is, this one is called Fibonacci. So, here is Fibonacci. Let me see if I get a better picture here. Yeah. There's that. So, yeah, so if you're into skirts, there you go. And then there's also a bag in here. So, they did it in 2 different colorways here. So, there's a bag. Yeah. I just love, I love Lina. They just kind of knock it out of the park every single time, There's another shirt. So it's just in time for the summer months, where you can just pick and choose, They have a nice shawl in here that they've styled to work over pants. So it's large enough to wear over jeans, or, you can just kind of see how they displayed it there. Yeah, so, and then there's this one. Kind of a, dolman sleeve type top. Yeah, so even some wristers. And that top is nice as well. That's included in here. Yeah, here's that one. Little flowers. Yeah, so if you can get your hands on that, this is they call it Spring 2026, and that's of course Lina Let's Crochet. Yeah. And then lastly, I just wanted to mention, just in terms of my plans. So next month in July, toward the end, I'm going to be going to Madomic kind of adult camp, camp for adults. Again, I went last year, had a great time. So if you don't know, it's a full week up in Maine. Yeah, it's modern but rustic camping. So you have cabins, you stay, indoor plumbing, they feed you, and then there's lovely, craft classes that you take. So I'm signed up for a whole bunch of neat stuff. Let me just see if I can tell you. I just got the schedule. So I'm going to be in backstrap weaving. I'm going to be taking a woven pouch class. I am going to be in, let's see, what else I'm going to be taking a class with Bristol Ivy on secret cables. I love Bristol Ivy. She's wonderful. She's a great designer. And then I'm also doing a class on making cordage. So kind of using plant material to make cords and that sort of thing. So yeah, so stay tuned. I came back last year so pumped from that. It's just a different type of, making and that sort of thing. So yeah, so lots to see, and, what's not to like about, a week in Maine next to a lake. With other wonderful makers. So, all right. So that's going to do it for me for this week. And I just checked my calendar. I'm going to be able to make up for the week last week that I missed. So yeah, in June, I'll be able to podcast 3 times. So yay for that. So yeah, so more content for June. So you'll get to see me more in June. I'll make up for missing May so much. But anyway, so until next time, stay safe, keep crafting, and I will see you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.